Hey there, fellow listeners. Welcome to Relationship Hunt, a safe haven where we embark on an exhilarating journey through real-life relationship stories, exploring love, heartbreak, and everything in between. So hit that subscribe button and let's dive right in. I'm still thinking about my situationship. I'm a 20-year-old woman. For a while now, I've been thinking about something and I don't know what to do. In 2021, towards the end of the year, a guy messaged me on Instagram and asked me out. Initially, I wasn't interested because he lived in a different city, about an hour and a half away from me, but he insisted a lot and eventually convinced me. On the day of the meeting, I was quite nervous as we had never met in person. He had driven for an hour and a half just to see me. When he arrived, I was pleasantly surprised because he was exactly what I liked in a person: physically attractive, well-mannered, and polite. We went out for dinner and had an amazing time. When the date ended, he dropped me off at my house and expressed his desire to see me again. After that day, I couldn't stop thinking about him. Weeks passed, and he informed me that he wanted to come back to see me. A few weeks later, he picked me up and we went to a fancy restaurant for dinner. Once again, we had an incredible time. This time, he stayed overnight at a luxurious hotel in my city. The next day, he was going to return to his city. After the date, he dropped me off at my house and tried to kiss me. We ended up kissing, and he mentioned that he would pick me up the next day for breakfast before leaving. The following day, I was excited to see him again. However, I didn't hear from him until the afternoon, when he informed me that he had to go back to his city. From that point, he started becoming distant, although we continued to talk. At this stage, I was already quite in love with him, but I wanted to take things slowly. It seemed odd to me that he left without communicating as we had agreed. Weeks passed and we continued to talk, but his interest in seeing each other again remained unfulfilled. Eventually, he ghosted me. It hurt a lot, especially since he had been respectful and made an effort to visit me despite the long drive. We had a connection, and I never really understood why it ended. Months went by and out of nowhere, he started responding to my stories on social media. By that time, I had already started dating someone else, so I ignored him, although I still thought about him. I never stopped thinking about him, but I gave someone else a chance because it hurt me that he had ghosted me and then suddenly returned as if nothing had happened. Several more months passed, and one day I responded to one of his stories. He read my message without replying. After that, I thought I wouldn't hear from him anymore, and I continued with my life. But recently, in January 2024, I noticed that he had viewed my profile twice. It's important to mention that nothing ever happened between us. The truth is, he seemed very interested in the beginning, and our 2 dates were a lot of fun. Wow, that's a roller coaster of emotions. It sounds like you had a great time with this guy on your dates and he seemed genuinely interested. It must have been confusing when he suddenly ghosted you, especially after all the effort he put into seeing you. It's understandable that you moved on and started dating other people, but it's also interesting that he's been checking your profile recently. Maybe it's worth reaching out to see what his deal is. My husband's mom said something I'm scared will forever taint our relationship. I've been with my husband for almost 9 years, married for almost 5. Initially, I had a wonderful relationship with my mother-in-law and felt grateful for it, given the negative mother-in-law stories I've heard. My husband is not overly attached to his mother, as they only talk occasionally. 2022 was a challenging year for us. I had to quit my job due to severe migraines, and my husband supported us financially. In August, I had a hysterectomy that resolved my migraines. When I was cleared to work again, finding a job was difficult. My specific healthcare field limited my options, and my prior health issues affected my reputation. Each rejected job offer hit me hard, leading to depression. During this time, my mother-in-law said a few things that bothered me, but I assumed she meant well. She said things like, "It would be a great Christmas gift if you found a job." And I was hoping for a Christmas miracle. I wanted to avoid starting low-paying jobs and then quitting if I found a job in my field. The most hurtful comment came during a phone call between my husband and his mother with me present. She asked why I couldn't work at a fast food place. My husband defended me, knowing the effort I put into finding a job that matches my qualifications and pays well. It seemed like she thought I wasn't trying hard enough and planned to rely permanently on my husband. I would have supported him in the same situation. It made me feel undeserving of my husband, and that she thinks the same. Am I overreacting? How do I move past this and maintain a healthy relationship with her? Interacting with her during the holidays caused me anxiety and withdrawal. Damn, that's a tough situation. It sounds like your mother-in-law made some pretty hurtful comments during a difficult time for you. It's understandable that it's affecting your relationship with her. Maybe try having an honest conversation with her about how her words made you feel, and see if you can rebuild that connection you once had. It's great that you're in a better place now with your job and marriage though. Congrats on that. My husband is being scammed and he doesn't believe me. How can I get him to listen? My husband and I have been married for over 25 years and have children and grandchildren we adore. My husband is down to earth, selfless, loving, and generally just a good man. All of us, even the teenagers, love him so much. A major goal in his life is to provide for his family. He does quite well at this, but due to some major health issues that include cancer and multiple children with disabilities, the money doesn't stretch as far as he would like. We have never gone hungry, but sometimes the extras have to be prioritized. He has a respectable 400 NOK, and we have a lovely home. He has worked hard to achieve these, even while bearing some heavy burdens. Up until now, my husband and I have had no secrets between us. How do I know this? The fact of the matter is, we are both terrible at lying. We can't keep a secret from each other to save our lives. We have both been teased that we would make terrible spies. For 6 weeks now, I have noticed that my husband has just been off. He was not himself. I tried to be understanding and kept asking him what I could do to help him through whatever he was going through. I repeatedly told him I loved him and I was worried about him. He was short and sarcastic with his answers to me, which really hurt me, so to be completely open and honest, I was snippy and sarcastic right back. For the first time in 25 years, I was really worried about our marriage. We have had our fights, but we would always make up by the next day at the very latest. I knew something was really wrong this time. He was very defensive, but he finally told me tonight what has been happening. About 6 weeks ago, he was contacted on LinkedIn by a very nice Chinese lady who had good but not perfect English skills. It started out very benign, asking about work and family. She would be moving to this country soon, but before that, her elderly parents would be moving to our very small hometown. They might need some help before she got here and was wondering if my husband could help them. The friendship started slowly, but she said she was impressed by what he had been through and what our family has survived. She wanted to help our family. She first offered to send him money, but of course he, being the proud, hard-working man that he is, said no. So she said she would help him learn how to invest in cryptocurrency so he could better take care of his family. She has a billionaire uncle, who has even been mentioned in Forbes magazine, who she can talk to and get him to show my husband how to do this. When he repeatedly said this doesn't happen in real life, she said she was deeply hurt and almost started to cry. All she wanted to do was to help him, but if he didn't believe her, she would just leave him alone and never bother him again. They did several Zoom calls and he ran her pictures through a Google search to make sure it wasn't a stock image. He also Googled her uncle. Sure enough, he is a real person. The friendship continued. She first showed him screenshots of her, she is a millionaire, and her billionaire uncle's accounts and walked him through how to set everything up. They even did a few mock runs to see how much money he would be making if it had been real. She told him that he could not tell anyone about this because this was part of an exclusive group that not everyone could belong to. Others in the group were investing hundreds of thousands, but since she really wanted to help us, she would use her connections to ensure that he could invest the small amount he had readily available. Mind you, all this was over a 6-week period. Today he invested a small bit of his hard-earned money and was excited to see it had a 10% return in just one day. But more than that, he was happy to have made such a good friend when he was at his lowest. My heart just broke for him. I told him I love him and that he is an amazingly good man and that I am proud to call him husband. But then, as gently as I could, I told him about the pig butchering scam. He did not fully believe me. I begged him to just Google it. He started pointing out the minor details in his situation that were different from what was online. How can I help my husband see that this is a textbook example of the pig butchering scam? What can I do to help him understand that we all love him for who he is as a person, not what he can give us? How can we help him overcome this loneliness and crushing weight he feels? Could I be wrong? Could she be real? Oh Lord, I would love to be wrong. I know how destroyed my man would be if he lost any money to this. He has enough on his shoulders. He doesn't need to add this. I'm really sorry to hear about the situation your husband is in, but it sounds like he's fallen victim to a common scam. The pig butchering scam is a classic example of someone pretending to be a wealthy individual offering investment opportunities, but it's just a way to steal money. It's important to try and help your husband understand that this person is not genuine and that he shouldn't invest any more money. It might be worth reaching out to a financial advisor or doing some research together to show him more evidence about how these scams work. Stay supportive and reassure him that your love and support are not based on material things. I think I hate my girlfriend. To provide context, I have a 30-minute commute from work, while she lives an hour away from my job and only 20 minutes away from my house. She has a short walk to her workplace. Lately, I've become numb to everything related to our relationship. I don't feel as sympathetic as I used to, and several incidents have led to this. Firstly, months ago during a heart-to-heart conversation, I shared a story about contemplating suicide and how a classmate helped me through it. She became upset because she felt we didn't have anything similar to share. Keep in mind that this incident occurred before we knew each other. The second major event was when she threatened to kill herself and blame me for it, even mentioning that I would have to explain to her children why she did it. After I called the police for help, she immediately changed her tune and criticized my actions, fearful of the consequences. Against advice, I chose to stay on the condition that she seeks therapy, which she claims to have done. Following the second incident, I feel like I mentally checked out. Our arguments always revolve around when we will see each other, her inability to express herself, and me not providing a safe space. Although I tried to sympathize, it has now turned into annoyance and stress. She often seeks my advice on personal matters such as housing, finances, and health, but I don't feel comfortable being involved in those life-altering decisions. While I offer help when I can, I don't want to take on that responsibility. Regarding her health issues, I've become emotionally detached. I tried to be supportive, but I am mentally and emotionally drained. I understand that it may sound selfish since I'm not the one dealing with the medical issue, but I can't be her sole support system. Despite loving her, I hate this relationship. When we are apart for a few days, I actually feel a sense of peace. I even look forward to work because it means I can't constantly be on my phone and text her. The constant woe is me mentality also frustrates me now. I used to be encouraging and supportive, but now it just drains me. She frequently asks what's wrong or how I feel, but when I try to express myself, I get interrupted or interrogated. I try to listen to her feelings without dismissing them, but if I deviate from her expectations, it becomes a problem. I've stayed in this relationship because I don't want her to feel alone or unloved, but it's draining me. Nobody should feel like the world is against them, but I feel like I'm shouldering the burden of being her quasi-husband, boyfriend, best friend, etc. At this point, I don't know what to do. I've been on autopilot for months, going through the motions and sticking to my routine of work, the gym, school, and seeing each other on weekends. I'm just tired. Wow, that sounds really tough. It seems like you've been through a lot with her, and it's understandable that you're feeling emotionally drained. It's important to prioritize your own well-being and take care of yourself too. Have you considered talking to her about how you're feeling and maybe exploring ways to improve the relationship or finding some support outside of just each other? My boyfriend received a strange text and is accusing me of cheating. What should I do? My boyfriend, 23, and I, 22F, have been together for over a year. We met during our senior year of college and immediately clicked. After a few times hanging out, he asked me to be his girlfriend. Everything has been great, but a few months after graduating, I accepted a job on the other side of the country. My boyfriend has a lot of student loans and wants to live with his parents while he pays them off, so he couldn't move with me. Although my boyfriend was worried about long distance tearing us apart, we agreed to give it a try. It has been 4 months since I moved for my new job. I love this city and everything about it. In the first few weeks, I met a girl who introduced me to her big group of friends, and they immediately made me feel welcomed. This group consists of guys and girls around my age, and we hang out multiple times a week. Everyone knows about my long-distance relationship and respects my boundaries. I would never cross any lines with them. My boyfriend and I have only seen each other once since I moved, but we talk on the phone FaceTime every day. Things have been mostly good, but he doesn't seem to like my new friends, especially the guys, and isn't comfortable with me hanging out with them. Apart from that, long distance has been going well, and he has planned to visit me on Valentine's Day in a few weeks. Now, the reason for my writing. Last night, while I was having dinner with my friends, my boyfriend called me. He sounded angry, so I stepped outside to talk. He told me he received a text message from an unknown number, which called us both by name and claimed that we had been exchanging nude pictures for the past few weeks. The person shared this information because they felt guilty after finding out about my relationship with my boyfriend. I was shocked and confused. I denied the allegations to my boyfriend. Initially, I thought about the guys in my friend group since they are the only guys I know in this city. However, I am certain they aren't interested in me, so I can't imagine them spreading such lies to ruin my relationship. I asked my boyfriend to send me a screenshot of the text so I could look up the phone number, but he panicked and deleted it. He also blocked the number, which made sense to me considering his history of severe anxiety and paranoia. He started accusing me of cheating, but I kept denying it and assuring him of my fidelity. After a long conversation, he calmed down and seemed to believe me. I returned to the restaurant and shared what happened with a few of my girlfriends, Amy, Betty, and Christine. They noticed that I was shaken up, so I told them the details. Amy and Betty were surprised, and they wanted to see the texts, but I explained that my boyfriend had deleted them in a panic. They accepted my explanation, and we began discussing who the unknown number could be, concluding that it may just be a strange prank. However, Christine is skeptical of the situation. She finds it suspicious that my boyfriend doesn't have proof of the texts and has encouraged me to confront him. I'm torn. On one hand, I want to forget about this incident and return to normal. On the other hand, Christine's doubt has been nagging at me. I worry that my boyfriend doesn't trust me anymore because of this text, but I don't want to create more tension by bringing it up again. I love him dearly and want to do whatever it takes to regain his trust. What should I do? Hey up, that's definitely a tricky situation. It sounds like you have a great group of friends who support you, and it's awesome that they're trying to help you figure out this strange text situation. Ultimately though, the decision is up to you. If you trust your boyfriend and believe that he panicked and deleted the text out of anxiety, then maybe it's best to let it go. But if the doubt lingers and it starts affecting your relationship, it might be worth having a calm and honest conversation with your boyfriend to address the issue and rebuild the trust. Good luck. How to break up when you both still love each other. I am currently in my first relationship with my girlfriend. We've been dating for just under 2 years and are both extremely happy with each other. Since very early in the relationship, we both imagined we'd be together long-term, talking about getting married, having kids, and living together. We rarely have arguments, and we both know that we're happy together. The one thing causing stress in the relationship is that my girlfriend is struggling with a gambling addiction. She informed me about it before we started dating, explaining that it used to be a big problem but that it was under control, and she now plays occasionally for fun without losing control. I accepted that, and we started dating. However, after about 6 months, things took a turn for the worse. She started going to the casino more frequently and losing significant amounts of money, which made her incredibly depressed and even led to self-harm at one point. She confided in me that she had experienced suicidal thoughts in the past when her gambling addiction was at its worst. She assured me that cutting herself was a one-time occurrence, and that instead, she would reach out to me. We tried various measures to address the issue, such as limiting her playing, attempting to quit altogether, and even exploring support groups like Gambling Anonymous. Unfortunately, she felt uncomfortable at the support group and claimed it didn't help. Throughout our relationship, there were 5 major relapses, each one putting significant strain on us. After each incident, I expressed my concerns about the impact on our finances if we were to get married, and explained that if it happened again, I would have to end the relationship. However, each time it occurred, she would break down, cry, and show me how much she despised herself in those moments. I couldn't bring myself to do anything except offer comfort and promise her another chance. After the last relapse, I made it clear that it couldn't happen again, emphasizing that if it did, I would have to break up with her. Thankfully, she didn't gamble for about 3 months after that. However, I recently discovered that she has been gambling again, as I checked her bank account and noticed over $1,500 in withdrawals. She is unaware that I am aware of her relapse. At this point, I have lost hope that she will overcome her addiction or seek help, forcing me to accept that I must end the relationship. The challenge I face now is how to go about it. This being my first relationship, I've never had to break up with someone or experience being broken up with. I am unsure about what to expect or how to handle the situation. It's going to be even more difficult because we both still love each other and envision a future together, if not for this one issue. I am scared about how much it will hurt her. She has mentioned that her past boyfriends were not good to her, and she believes she is the happiest she has ever been with me. If things don't work out between us, she has given up on dating altogether. I don't want to hurt her. I love her too much to intentionally cause pain, but I am fully aware that breaking up is unavoidable. As she works a lot, I don't want to burden her with this when she has somewhere to be. Therefore, I plan to talk to her in 3 days, on Monday when she has Monday and Tuesday off. However, before that, we have a date planned on Sunday, and I know it will feel awful to go out with her and pretend everything is fine when I know it will end the next day. Additionally, neither of us has any close friends to rely on for support. We have always been each other's support system and confidants. It will be a painful experience for both of us to go through something that causes such deep hurt without having each other for support and comfort. To summarize, my girlfriend and I still love each other, but I must break up with her due to her gambling addiction. I simply want some advice on how to handle the situation and minimize the hurt as much as possible. Hey there, I'm really sorry to hear about your situation. Breaking up is never easy, especially when you still love each other. It's great that you're considering her feelings and trying to minimize the hurt. When you talk to her, be honest but gentle about your concerns regarding the gambling addiction and how it affects your future together. Emphasize that you care about her and want her to be happy and healthy, but that you cannot continue in a relationship that brings such strain. It's important to give her the space and support she needs to work on herself, and also to take care of yourself during this difficult time. Good luck! Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.